All right. Well, here we are. It's Dave After Dark. I'm your host, David J. Riley, here at the Backlash After Hours. So glad you could join me tonight. Oh, look, there's a live stream happening. Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to... Been making a bunch of different changes here at the Backlash. And let's see. There's the chat. We're going to... Sorry about that. A little discombobulating, doing shows on your own. First of all, you can follow us on X at Real Backlash. You can support this podcast on Subscribestar at subscribestar.com/thebacklash, on patreon.com/thebacklash. You can send in super chats here on the channel, on both the YouTube and the Rumble channel, as well as on Power Chat or Entropy. And so, make sure you're subscribed to us on Rumble, on YouTube, all of our platforms, Rumble, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, X, yada, yada, yada. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Got to give a shout out to our sponsors, as always, ODGG Supply, Above Time Coffee Roasters. Who else do we got? Antelope Hill Publishing. They have a large variety of different books. North Idaho Tallow Company, and of course, Atlas Bullion. So, just some technical stuff up front. Changing the way that we were doing the stream, we were using a program called Restream to help us get all the different streams to all the different channels. Now we're just using Rumble. It's looking like Rumble's working pretty good. So it mirrors everything, which is very good. Let's see here. First things first, we've got a little housekeeping to take care of. So going to put this up on the screen. There was an important announcement that was made on Wednesday from the Backlash. I'll read this. Since its launch in late 2024, the Backlash has grown from an idea into a powerful platform built by Rebecca Hargraves, Vincent James, Cameron McGregor, and Dave Riley. Together, we've reached millions of viewers, generated hundreds of millions of social media impressions, and formed lasting friendships and alliances across the country. This week, Cameron announced his decision to step away from the show in order to focus more fully on his own projects and the important work that he feels called to pursue in this next chapter of our nation. We are grateful for his contributions, his voice, and his commitment to the mission that we shared. In light of this transition, Rebecca has also decided to devote her time and energy toward expanding her independent content and developing new creative ventures on her YouTube channel. So we fully support her in this decision and look forward to seeing what she builds next. Transitions are a natural part of growth. And while this marks an end of one era for the Backlash, it is not the end of the story. The show will continue evolving, and we remain deeply grateful to our audience, our supporters, and our sponsors who have stood with us from the beginning. We wish Cameron and Rebecca nothing but success and fulfillment in their future endeavors. And we thank you, our supporters, for being a part of this journey. And the story continues. So, there's been a little bit of a change here. And so this is potentially the last Dave After Dark, officially, that you might be seeing. And so more, I'm sure, will unfold over the next couple of days. And we'll be back with regular content for you starting next Monday. And speaking of, we've got a big content lineup coming up here on the podcast. Monday, Dark Enlightenment will be on. We're going to be talking about the housing crisis, what to do about the housing crisis, why it's so bad, all the different aspects that it affects in our lives, and what we can do to fix this. How do we get a home? How do we get land? And navigate during this crazy time with all the inflation, the currency debasement, BlackRock buying up all the single-family homes. So he'll have a lot to share with us on that. Then on Wednesday, we are going to be talking with Honest Pollster. Let's see. Let me pull up his thing. Let's see here. Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Reports will be joining us. He's one of the only, actually independent pollsters in the United States. And so I think it's important. We're going to get an update from him on where the country is, where people's minds are at, because being on X, being on all these different social media platforms, it's really easy to get stuck in your own bubble and kind of disconnected from where the rest of the world is at. You still have boomers watching slop on Fox News. You've got a lot of lefties that are over on Blue Sky, and we don't really see any of that over here on X or Rumble. But what these pollsters are supposed to do anyway, most of them don't because they're dishonest. The point of a pollster is to go out and to actually grab real people and find out what they're talking about, what they're thinking about, and what their stance is on certain political issues, and to kind of cut through the bubbles and get like a real honest opinion of where people are. And so it's going to be very interesting to hear from Mark. To hear where people are from a unbiased third-party observer who does polling for a living. So that'll be on Wednesday. I think that one will be actually earlier than again, transition. Things are a little different. Times are going to be like up in the air and a little bit all over the place as we kind of settle into this new phase. But we're planning on 2 p.m. Eastern for that one with Mark Mitchell. Then on Friday next week, we should be talking to Homath. Homath is a great. Let me pull him up. Let me pull him up here on Twitter. Homath is absolutely fantastic. He does these like explainer videos explaining why women are crazy, and so we'll be talking with him. A lot of young men that either are looking for a wife, looking to date. And also a lot of guys that are married that need to be able to deal with their wives. So I think Homath will be able to help us understand women a little bit better. So that'll be good. And then, of course, the following Monday, there's a lot of content, a lot of announcements. On the 23rd of February, we are extremely excited to be joined by Casey Puch. Casey Puch, he's the car guy. Casey the car guy. He's, of course, challenging Vivek Ramaswamy in Ohio for the governor's seat. So it'll be really interesting to talk with Casey, find out more about his campaign. We talked with James Fishback earlier, a couple weeks ago, and it looks like his campaign is doing great. I've been seeing lots of crowds for him in Florida, following him around at all his campaign stops. So next we'll be checking in, like I said, on the 23rd with Casey Puch. We'll find out more about his campaign, how things are going in Ohio. There's a lot of issues to talk about there between data centers, Palantir, Anduril, the Jewish mafia that's been operating in Cleveland for a long time. So maybe we'll find out some more about that from Casey. And going forward, there's like a long laundry list of excellent guests that we're going to be talking with. Trying to break through the bubble, trying to find out what's actually going on in this country, because unfortunately we're inundated with a lot of slop on the day-to-day. A lot of content that I always see on the timeline that's like something that happened 2 or 3 years ago, and somebody just decided to clip it and post it as if it had just happened when it was either an old video or an old announcement. And that can be a little discombobulating. I mean, remember, all of these social media platforms are forms of psychological warfare. And so since that is how we are forced essentially to getting our news, the newspapers suck. We know who owns the media. And so in this new media area, it's really important that we break through the bubbles. We find out what other people are saying so that we can make an honest and good judgment on how to proceed and move forward, because we are kind of at the beginning of a new age that is more centered on nationalism than globalism, one that's more rooted in tradition than on what the media is selling us. All the Edward Bernays type of media bullshit that's been going on since the 1960s. So anyway, so that's a little bit of that, a little bit of a look into the future. No, the show is not over. The show will go on. And so it's great to have you with us. Let's just take a quick look. I usually don't do this. I usually ignore the live chats, but I did want to make sure that it's working. And it is. Very good. Very good. I'm not reading that. Yeah, Edward Bernays and Freud were cousins. That's something that I just saw a video on that come out a couple days ago. It's very interesting. They're all related. They are all related. It's like Epstein-occupied government. There's been a lot of revelations about that as well. Howard Lutnick, who lied to the American people, said that he had nothing to do with Epstein after 2005. And then, of course, all of these videos coming out showing, or videos and emails showing that he took his entire family to Epstein Island, where, by the way, there is a Chabad center, a Chabad Jewish center, just a kayak away. You might want to check out the last stream that we actually did all together here on the Backlash. If you haven't seen it already, it is this one, episode 114, the unredacted truth about Jeffrey Epstein, globalism, and world power, or world domination. You might want to take a look at that stream if you haven't seen that already. Because we dove very deep into a group called Chabad Lubavitch, which seems to be very well connected with all of these so-called right-wing leaders throughout Europe, South America, and America. So definitely worth checking that out. Now, what else is going on here? I wanted to talk a little bit about this big happening this week. The Twitter feeds were alight with a woman named Carrie Prejean Boller. That's this woman right here, Carrie Prejean Boller. She's a member of the White House Religious Liberty Commission, and she kind of threw a big monkey wrench into this thing. This week, let's see, I've got it over here, juggling all these different. There was a video. Let's see, this is from the Justice Department. They have, as a subset, a task force on religious liberty, or a religious liberty commission. This was called into being by Donald Trump on May 1st of 2025. I don't think we've ever had a religious liberty commission before in this country. But Donald Trump made one. And it's very interesting because here's the DOJ's website. We've got the list of people that are on it. Now, who's leading the Religious Liberty Commission here? Let's see. It is Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who's the chair, Dr. Ben Carson, and Mary Margaret Bush. All of them are Zionists, by the way, in case you didn't already know that. As a matter of fact, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, the chairman for this Religious Liberty Commission, check this out. This is from his Instagram. Let's see if we get the audio.
I was outraged by the brutal attack on Israel on October 7th. Because I wanted to do more than just give words of support, a few weeks ago I announced my campaign was buying $3 million worth of Israeli bonds. The response was so positive that I've decided to double that to $6 million.
Oh, $6 million. Can you believe it? $6 million. So this guy, as he was running for lieutenant governor of Texas, used campaign funds that he essentially, got from corporations or from supporters, and he used that as his campaign to purchase Israeli war bonds. $3 million. And then he doubled it to the magic number, $6 million. This is the guy who is heading up Donald Trump's Religious Liberty Commission, okay? Just so you're aware. I mean, it gets much worse from here. Now, there are some other notables. Bishop Robert Barron, he's on the commission. He's a pretty good guy. Cardinal Timothy Dolan, another interesting fella. But then you got Franklin Graham, obviously big-time Zionist. Dr. Phil, hello. He's another one. Eric Metaxas, big Zionist. Kelly Shackelford. And then this woman, Pastor Paula White. Do you guys remember Pastor Paula White? Do you remember this crazy woman? I think I've got a video of her. Yeah, here it is.
And strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory.
Dude.
I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance.
All right, that's enough. We've got crazy people here. We've got crazy people on the Commission for Religious Liberty. Wow. So anyway, as the council got together in their live stream that you should go watch, by the way, which there's very few people that have actually watched this actual committee hearing. If you look on the YouTube, 20,000 views, 5.9 thousand views. Like nobody's paying any attention to this. But it's worth it. Because this woman, Carrie Prejean Boller, who is, I guess she was like in a Miss America beauty pageant type of thing. Don't know how she got based, but apparently here we are. And so we're going to play a couple of clips from this Religious Liberty Conference. We're going to see what Carrie Prejean Boller has to say, because she had a couple of tough lines of questioning for, you remember Shabbos Kestenbaum, the Democrat that the RNC invited to come speak at last year's GOP meeting. Shabbos Kestenbaum was also the guy that sued Harvard for, I guess, antisemitism because there were students protesting the genocide in Gaza, and he was offended by that. Offended by a protest, that is, not offended by murdering women and children in Gaza, just so we're clear. But anyway, Seth Dillon, Shabbos Kestenbaum, a couple of other of these interesting people on the Religious Liberty Commission. So let's take a look and let's see what she gets into, because we've been seeing a lot of this stuff locally that's been breaking out between Catholics, traditional Christians, Eastern Orthodox, Presbyterian, and Zionist evangelicals. Like we've been seeing it take over the town hall meetings. We've been seeing it take over the local Republican Party meetings, where almost every single time that you give two people a microphone in this county, it devolves into a debate between evangelicals and Catholics and whether or not supporting Zionism makes you an anti-Semite. So I thought that this was really interesting to get on the record. So let's take a little watch, and we'll start and stop it and comment as we go. So let's take a look.
Mr. Frankel, this is for you. You described very painful experiences at UCLA, and I take that very serious. At the same time, many of the students who I've spoken to personally who created those encampments say that they were protesting the killing of tens of thousands of Palestinian civilians in Gaza and their university's financial ties to that war. So I need to ask you, in a country built on religious liberty in the First Amendment, do you believe someone can stand firmly against anti-Semitism, including what you experienced, and at the same time condemn the mass killing of Palestinians in Gaza, or reject political Zionism, or not support the political state of Israel? Or do you believe that speaking out about what many Americans view as genocide in Gaza should be treated as anti-Semitic? Because in my view, the United States cannot and must not make loyalty to a particular theology about Israel a litmus test for protected speech or moral legitimacy.
Charlie Kirk said that Jew hate is brain rot. Some people don't have brains. I'm not going to assist them in setting a double standard for the Israeli government and the Jewish people as they fight to defend themselves. These were students calling for intifada within days after October 7th, before Israel had even entered Gaza. So it's not about them and their using Palestinian civilian death, which is horrendous and horrible. They're using it as a prop. And it doesn't matter. My religious beliefs are violated. You don't get to block me because I'm Zionist and a Jew. You want to protest Israel? Great. 100% go ahead and do it. But the university let them wear masks, even though there's a mask ban. They violated all time, place, and manner restrictions, amplified sounds. It went on for years. They kept doing this time after time again. And that's what the judge saw and said, that's not okay. They can protest, they can't block Jews, and you can't assist them in doing it.
I'm really grateful that we're having this discussion because I think this is a topic that is really affecting so many Americans. Rabbi Shapiro, he's based in New York. I invited him here today, but he's not here today. He says, and I would love your opinion on this, American Jews are increasingly treated as less fully American, our loyalty questioned, our belonging made conditional, because Zionist ideology falsely claims Israel is the nation state of Jews everywhere, and that every Jew is nationally tied to it. He says, this framing is anti-Semitic at its core. It strips us of our identity as Americans, recasts us as foreigners in our own country, and arms anti-Semites with accusations of divided loyalties and collective guilt for actions we neither chose nor control. No other foreign country does this. No sovereign state claims to politically represent an entire worldwide group defined by religion or heritage and bind its members to its deeds. Yet Jews alone bear this unique, unjust burden. That dangerous lie must be rejected openly and firmly. The remedy is clear: civic education that teaches unconditional American belonging through citizenship alone, not ethnicity, heritage, or any fabricated foreign tie. We are Americans, full stop, and we reject any doctrine that treats us otherwise. Would you say that statement is anti-Semitic?
What I'll say is that Natan Sharansky says there's three things that you shouldn't do with Israel. You shouldn't delegitimize it, you shouldn't demonize it, and you shouldn't apply a double standard. You can abide by those three things, you're not anti-Semitic.
Now, just to jump in here a little bit, give you a little bit more background on this. The rabbi that Carrie Prejean Boller was quoting there is this guy right here. Nope. Right here. Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro. He is involved with a group called Voice of Rabbis, which is a group of like ultra-Orthodox. It's a sect of Hasidism in Brooklyn. And they have these like massive meetings where Jews go out, and you can see they're even they're retweeting this exact clip of Carrie Prejean Boller. But I'm probably not going to be able to pull it up here. I saw it within the last few days. But they have these giant manifestations in Brooklyn where they talk about how Judaism and Zionism are different, and you're allowed to not agree with. Yeah, this is like one of these clips. Hold on, let's. Oh, geez, that is loud. I apologize. This is one of their demonstrations. I'll just like let it go. But they're engaged in a kind of what's the word for it? Not kayfabe, but they're trying to make a distinction between Jews and Israel, which is something that the Zionists are conflating one to another, which is interesting. But I just wanted to point that out, that this woman, Carrie Prejean, she's quoting this rabbi. He's involved with this group that's organizing protests on behalf of Palestinians in New York. And it's also really interesting to see that there are some connections here, and we'll see that in some of these clips between Carrie and like Candace Owens. So there's something weird going on there. But I just figured I'd bring that to you. Let's go back to the clip real quick. Let's see.
By not being a Zionist, does that make you an anti-Semite?
I don't think you need to be a Zionist to support a country that defends itself and is free and religious in a hostile neighborhood.
So is anti-Zionism
Hold on
anti-Semitism?
one second, Carrie.
Yes.
It is. It is.
Sorry.
Yes.
To take that point for a second.
Let me back up. I didn't want to step over that answer. I didn't know you were both of you still talking. So
Just to be clear, is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism?
Yes.
It is under IHRA?
Rabbi,
Sure.
you're up next.
You're not
Bad
sure?
definition,
So
but
what is the definition?
I would love to speak to that. Undoubtedly, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, and undoubtedly, and one does not have to support the specific policies of the government of Israel, but to not support the right of Israel to exist, which is what anti-Zionists do, while not taking that same stand to the 28 Muslim countries and 13 Christian countries in this world, is a double standard, is hypocrisy, and is absolutely anti-Semitism.
I think it's also important that we not make Islamophobic remarks while we're here today. I would appreciate that.
Listen to this crowd. They're like
just wanna
booing.
say,
This is a religious liberty hearing.
God forbid was anything like that said. But if the Jewish people are the only people that you deny the right to have its own state, that is absolutely a double standard, hypocrisy, and anti-Semitism.
Well, as you know, I'm a Catholic, and Catholics do not embrace Zionism, just so you know. So are all Catholics anti-Semites, according to you?
As I said, anti-Zionism, by denying the right of the Jews to have their own state while not saying the same for any other peoples, that is a double standard, hypocrisy, and anti-Semitism.
So just to be clear, are Catholics anti-Semites? because they don't-
Carrie, excuse me. I'm going to interrupt the discussion. Our committee is focused on religious liberty taken from all people, whether they be Muslims, Jews, Christians, Sikhs. We've had all those witnesses here. This is not a commission on defining religions or calling out any theology, or this is not the commission for that.
Right, but we're
so
talking
you
about
were-
a foreign nation, so I want to be clear on what the definition of anti-Semitism is. If I don't support the political state of Israel, am I an anti-Semite? Yes or no?
They already answered, asked and
Yes.
answered.
According to you on the record, yes? If I don't support the political state of Israel?
I don't personally label people. But what I'm saying is, if somebody states if somebody says they're an anti-Zionist, they are saying about themselves that they have a double standard and hypocrisy, and they're taking anti-Semitic positions.
Okay. Carrie, you feel like you have your questions in?
I don't agree with that, because as a Catholic, I don't agree that the new modern state of Israel has any biblical prophecy meaning at all. So that's my stance, and I'm Catholic.
Yeah. Dr. Ben.
So anyway, you get an idea. It got pretty heated in there. We've got a couple of other clips that we're going to go through. But before we do that, I want to point out that Carrie's right. Catholics should not support Zionism or the modern state of Israel that was founded on terrorism and genocide in 1948. There's a quote here from the Honorable, Blessed St. Pius X. And, you know, there's a lot of Catholics out there that have a deep and abiding veneration for St. Pius X. And they like to skip over this one, though. So I'll read his statement. This was taken from the Complete Diaries of Theodore Herzl, published in 1960. It says, "We cannot give approval to this Zionist movement. We cannot prevent the Jews from going to Jerusalem, but we would never sanction it. The soil of Jerusalem, if it was not always sacred, has been sanctified by the life of Jesus Christ. As the head of the church, I cannot tell you anything different. The Jews have not recognized our Lord. Therefore, we cannot recognize the Jewish people. There are two possibilities. Either the Jews will cling to their faith and continue to await the Messiah, who for us has already appeared. In that case, they will be denying the divinity of Jesus, and we cannot help them. Or else they will go there without any religion, and then we can be even less favorable to them. The Jewish religion was the foundation of our own, but it was superseded by the teachings of Christ, and we cannot concede it any further validity. The Jews, who ought to have been the first to acknowledge Jesus Christ, have not done so to this day. After all, there are other bonds than those of religion, courtesy, and philanthropy. These we do not deny to the Jews. Indeed, we pray for them that their mind may be enlightened. And so if you come to Palestine and settle your people there, we shall have churches and priests ready to baptize all of you." That's what St. Pius X had to say about Zionism. There are also a lot of other saints that talked about this political project of Zionism as well. One of them being St. Maximilian Kolbe, who in his collected writings talks about how the Freemasons and the Zionists have worked together with the Rothschilds to colonize Palestine. So yeah, Catholic teaching is pretty clear on this. And so if you've got a Catholic that's saying that they are a Catholic and a Zionist, you're dealing with somebody that was either poorly catechized or you're dealing with a liar. You're dealing with somebody that has been paid off. And we've been seeing a lot of that recently. There was a group called the Catholic League. Let me pull them up real quick. And the Catholic League, here's their Twitter account. It's led by a guy named Bill Donahue. The Catholic League came out and called Carrie Prejean Boller a rogue Catholic because, well, after she brought up this line of questioning, she was ousted by the Religious Liberty Commission, right? She asked these very pointed questions. If I don't support political Zionism, if I don't support the state of Israel, does that make me an anti-Semite? The answer, yes, it does. So this whole thing got her apparently ejected from it. There's some controversy as to whether or not she has been actually ejected. She's got some tweets up on her profile. By the way, go follow her. She's launched from like 5,000 followers to 90,000 followers over the past few days. Does seem a little coordinated, but she said forcing people to affirm Zionism on a Religious Liberty Commission is the opposite of religious freedom. I will not resign, and I will not be bullied for following my Catholic conscience. And so this was a response to Shabbos Kestenbaum. She's got some other tweets where she talks about how basically the only person that can fire her is POTUS, right? What will the president do? Remove the Catholic who stood for her religious beliefs while serving on his Religious Liberty Commission? I hope he makes the right decision. Let's pray for Trump. Obviously, I'm not holding my breath. Miriam Adelson bought him out. We know who Trump's in bed with. And, I guess with these Epstein revelations, we know a little bit too much about who he's in bed with. But I don't see that happening. Or at least I don't see her staying on. So then there's some other interesting clips here. And sorry, I know that these are a little bit long, but it's okay. I think that this was a serious issue. I don't think it got enough play in the media. So I think, taking the time to watch some of these clips is really good. Here's a line of questioning between this woman, Carrie Prejean, and Seth Dillon, the head of the Babylon Bee. Let's take a listen.
Seth, I know you're big on free speech. Babylon Bee wouldn't exist if you didn't have freedom of speech, and I'm full supportive of that. You said platforms are an issue, which I assume you're referring to X. Are you saying that Elon and heads of platforms need to censor speech that they determine as anti-Semitic? And if so, by what definition do they censor? Would that definition censor this verse from the Bible? The Jews who killed both the Lord Jesus and their own prophets and drove us out and don't please God and are contrary to all men. 1 Thessalonians 2:14.
I think you may have...
I think he should be removed. I think he should be removed.
Excuse me. We will not have outbursts from the audience. If there's a further outburst, I will ask you to leave.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right, you're out. Please escort this gentleman. We will not be interrupted.
Thank you. We're having a discussion. It's very important.
I think you may have misheard what I said about platforms. I said platforms are not the problem. Promotion is the problem. So what I advocate for, I actually personally advocated for Nick Fuentes to be reinstated on X when Elon took it over. Not because I like what he has to say, but because I love that he has the right to say it. So even these ideas that I steadfastly oppose, I think the solution to them is to push back on them. Better speech, more speech, good speech in response to bad speech. So you may have just misunderstood what I was saying there about the platforms.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. And then, Leo, thank you so much for being here. What anti-Semitic actions have taken place? I've heard a lot of examples of harmful words and protests, but aren't we free in this nation to have the right to protest, protected by the First Amendment? As I said, Seth, love free speech, as do I. So words are protected. What I'm concerned about is what further legislation do we need around free speech?
Well, first of all, let me be very clear. I've been a civil rights attorney 35 years. I am a strong believer in free speech. You will not have me challenge anyone's right to speak. I support Seth on that. But when you match speech with conduct, criminal conduct, such as blocking access to someone's right to go to school, along with the speech, then you cross a line where there may be a criminal activity where the affirmative defense of free speech no longer exists. We had a lot of discussion about a school that I'm embarrassed that I went to, UCLA Law School. We heard what was going on. I was sitting there cringing because it was true. And we had people who were block access. Speech, I'm all good for that. Going back to what I originally said, all those charges in which the line was crossed, where it went from speech to conduct, believe it or not, the local prosecutor dismissed all those charges, the criminal charges. So that's why I'm saying this problem is really on a local level. But I will support anyone's right on speech. It's when they match it with conduct that might cross the line and would be considered criminal in and of itself.
But aren't there already laws to protect that?
Oh, you never heard me say in my presentation, there are existing laws that should be utilized. I'm not talking about creating new laws.
So as the chairman of whatever
the task force.
The task force, yes, thank you. What do you recommend as far as further laws?
I mentioned it today. Well, first of all, Title VI is a funding law that should be used. Title VII is very critical. Civil Rights Act 1964-65, which allows employees who are facing discriminatory misconduct to seek action. Even union organizations can be used for Title VII. So those were the two that I was referring to. And what is a great weapon, which I have learned, is that Jewish faculty members in public unions are being denied right to participate. That's a Title VII action. So what I'm saying is, under the rubric of what is...
Dude, look at how sweaty this guy is.
Currently
look at how sweaty.
Civil rights laws.
That's so disgusting, dude. All right, we're going to leave it at that with this one. I will draw your attention to the laptop screen here. This is a photo of Leo Terrell. He is the head of the Department of Justice's anti-Semitism task force. This guy is lining up for the $7,000 payments from Israel. So you've got people that are promoting foreign propaganda, that are in the DOJ, that are heading these committees, holy cow. It's just so bad. And, the head of this Religious Liberty Commission, the former lieutenant governor of Texas, like literally buying Israeli bonds, $6 million of Israeli bonds. Totally unbiased here. No agenda here. And of course it makes sense to see why she gets ousted. So let's continue. There's a couple more interesting clips that we can play. Here's one. Come on.
Okay, so as a pastor, are you worried or concerned at all that certain parts of the Bible, particularly the New Testament, would be considered anti-Semitic, specifically to referring the killing and crucifixion of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Why would that be anti-Semitic? That is simply a fact.
Well,
that the Jewish
according
people,
to the
That is funny. We talked about this a couple of episodes ago. There's the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which is what this question gets to the heart of. I've got Cloudflare over here. It's okay. So here we've got accusing or using the symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism. Example, claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood libel, right? It says that these should be criminal. It says anti-Semitic acts are criminal and criminal acts are anti-Semitic. Like, where have we heard this before? And so there's a push for more laws here in Idaho. We've got a group called the Idaho Jewish Alliance, which is pushing for the adoption of these IHRA anti-Semitism hate speech laws. And they're trying to do it at the federal level as well. So Carrie's questioning here is spot on. And it is funny. We'll go back now that you've kind of got that in your head about this International Holocaust Remembrance Association definition of anti-Semitism. With that in mind, listen to this again.
Okay, so as a pastor, are you worried or concerned at all that certain parts of the Bible, particularly the New Testament, would be considered anti-Semitic, specifically to referring the killing and crucifixion of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Why would that be anti-Semitic? That is simply a fact.
Well,
that the Jewish
according
people,
to the IHRA...
May I please finish when you ask me a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
When Jesus was crucified, it was most definitely at the hand of the Jews and of the Romans.
That would be considered anti-Semitism under IHRA. Are you aware of that?
If
But
we're
you're
talking
making an
about,
anti-Semitic
if we're
remark
talking
right now.
about 2,000 years ago, this is biblical history.
Yeah, that's under the
And yet
definition
this
of
is the
anti-Semitism.
beauty. This is the beauty of God's faithfulness, is he made a covenant with Abraham, and God is not a man that he would lie. And so when he blesses a people, that blessing continues eternally.
Well, that's your theological perspective. That's not for 2,000 years the belief of the Catholic Church.
And
I think you should remain quiet and respect this hearing.
No outcry from the audience, please. Carrie, I think we've had this discussion.
I did invite it. It's my fault. I apologize.
No, I'm glad you did. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And I'm from San Diego. I live there.
And
We should get
Sanitas.
coffee.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Do you surf?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I'll take you surfing then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Blah, blah,
for the
blah.
record, just for the record, the Holy See established formal diplomatic relations with Israel in 1993. Agreements between the two explicitly recognize each other's legitimate roles as state and church authorities. For example, the Holy See and Israel jointly affirmed each other's rights to operate and protect their communities and institutions. Just for the record.
Yeah, and you want to talk about crisis in the Catholic Church. We did a show about this this past Monday, in fact, because there has been quite the change in Catholic teaching. There's an article, we've talked about it on the show a number of different times. Let me pull it up again. This would be the Look magazine. Look magazine, how the Jews changed Catholic thinking. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, here it is. It's right here on the Internet Archive. So let's pull this up. Here it is. How the Jews changed Catholic thinking. Okay, and so you notice that the Holy See didn't recognize Israel until 1993. That was under the reign of Pope John Paul II. And at the Second Vatican Council, the Jews changed Catholic thinking. There was a document called Nostra Aetate. We've been talking about it. Don't want to beat a dead horse. We'll probably do some more content on this. We'll get like an expert on the show to discuss. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And so there are some other clips and things which are worthy of bringing up. One of them being this letter here from the patriarchs and the heads of the churches in Jerusalem, a statement on unity and representation of the Christian communities in the Holy Land. It says, I'll read this in full. The patriarchs and heads of the churches in the Holy Land affirm before the faithful and before the world that the flock of Christ in this land is entrusted to the apostolic churches which have borne their sacred ministry across centuries with steadfast devotion. Recent activities undertaken by local individuals who advance damaging ideologies, such as Christian Zionism, mislead the public, sow confusion, and harm the unity of our flock. These understandings have found favor among certain political actors in Israel and beyond who seek to push a political agenda which may harm the Christian presence in the Holy Land and the wider Middle East. Holy Scripture teaches us that though we are many, are one body in Christ and individually members one of another, to claim authority outside of communion with the church is to wound the unity of the faithful and burden the pastoral mission entrusted to the historic churches in the Holy Land where the Lord lived, taught, suffered, and rose from the dead. The patriarchs and heads of churches further note with concern that these individuals have been welcomed at official levels, both locally and internationally, Such actions constitute interference with the internal life of the churches and disregard the pastoral responsibility vested in the patriarchs and heads of churches in Jerusalem. The patriarchs and heads of churches in Jerusalem reiterate that they alone represent the churches and their flock in matters pertaining to Christian religious, communal, and pastoral life in the Holy Land. So here's an official document from the Catholic Church saying that Christian Zionism is a damaging ideology and that it sows disunity and discord everywhere that it is preached. We've also got a great clip here from Scott Hahn. For those of you who don't know, Scott Hahn was a very famous Protestant who converted to the Catholic Church. I think it was in the 1990s. Basically, he tried to disprove Catholicism, couldn't, and became Catholic. And so this is his take on the Catholic Zionist issue. Let's take a listen.
Got to be very careful about labeling people anti-Semites, because on the other side of the spectrum, we have to recognize that to be a Catholic Christian, to be a New Testament Christian, does not in any way cause you to embrace Zionism as the fulfillment of prophecy. And so if somebody speaks out against a Zionist political agenda, with whatever consequences, with respect to Gaza or missile strikes and so on and so forth, I'm just really cautious about even taking one step into the political arena. Got to be very
interesting, isn't it? Interesting. We've got a noted Catholic apologist weighing in now. Let's take a quick listen at what the new Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV, has said.
At the same time, we see this in the Holy Land, where despite the truce announced in October, the civilian population continues to endure a serious humanitarian crisis, adding further suffering to that already experienced. The Holy See is especially attentive to any diplomatic initiative that seeks to guarantee to the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip a future of lasting peace and justice in their own land, as well as to the entire Palestinian people and the entire Israeli people. In particular, the two-state solution remains the institutional perspective for meeting the legitimate aspirations for both peoples. Yet sadly, there's been an increase in violence in the West Bank against the Palestinian civilian population, which has the right to live in peace in its own land.
Not a lot of people, a lot of Christian Zionists very upset with statements like that. So anyway, it's been very interesting to see this kind of play out, and it's almost kind of, ironic. There's some level of irony here that is not at least lost on me, that we've got a religious liberty council discussing the issues of whether or not you have to support Israel or else you get called a nasty name. And it also is worth pointing out that there's like two different kinds of anti-Semitism. There's anti-Semitism and anti-Semitism. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean by that there is like an actual like biological determinist hatred of somebody because of who their mother was. Who does that sound like? Right? And then on the other hand, there's like quoting scripture. There's the truth. There's 1 Thessalonians 2:14-16. And it is what it is. Jewish behavior is what it is. They've killed 70,000 people in Gaza, women and children, indiscriminately murdered. You've got rabbis in America that own things like OnlyFans, MindGeek, and all of these different pornography websites, the media, the banks. You've got Jeffrey Epstein. And so is calling that stuff out anti-Semitism? Well, to those in the ADL and people on this Religious Liberty Commission, that's anti-Semitism. But to the rest of us that aren't totally lost in the sauce, we're not crazy, it's the truth. So read it and weep. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, so for her line of questioning, they are attempting to oust Carrie Prejean from the Religious Liberty Council. We'll have to follow up on that and see how it goes. But it is nice to see some of this stuff getting put on the record with these characters. Go watch the clips and definitely follow. I've been clipping all of this content from Chris Menahan over at InfoLib News. He's a great follow on X. He spends a lot of time watching these super boring meetings and pulling relevant clips from them. Definitely check him out. InfoLib News over on X. And so with that, one of the other kind of levels of irony that I wanted to discuss is specifically this concept of religious liberty. Because, the president made this council. He appointed people like Robert Barron, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, this woman, Carrie Prejean, on this religious liberty council. And if you actually familiarize yourself with the teaching of the church, you can read certain documents like Quanta Cura, which is written by Blessed Pope Pius IX in 1864. You can also read the Syllabus of Errors, which was written by Pius IX in 1864. And in the Syllabus of Errors, anyway, number 79, he says, "It is false that the civil liberty of every form of worship and the full power given to all of overtly and publicly manifesting any opinions whatsoever and thoughts conduce more easily to corrupt the morals and minds of people and to propagate the pest of indifferentism." So what the Pope is saying here, he is condemning the idea that you have the right to religious liberty. The church has always condemned religious liberty, and this is one of the key things here in the crux for traditional Catholics that are dealing with these issues, because that's one of the three main things that were changed at Vatican II. Ecumenism, synodality, and religious liberty. Those are the three main things. And so there's actually, I've got a new camera angle here that we're going to be debuting. There is a book called Religious Liberty Questioned by Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre. And it's definitely worth getting a copy of this book because he goes through in a very systematic way the church's teaching on religious liberty and how it has changed. And so there's this whole section here, starting on page 22, religious liberty condemned by the popes of the 19th century. I guess you can't really read it with me, but it says here that Pius VII, Gregory the 16th, Pius IX, Leo the 13th, and Gregory the 16th have all condemned the concept of religious liberty. And so it's funny. Get a copy of this book. You can get it at angeluspress.org. Religious Liberty Questioned. Great book. And so it's just very funny that this particular issue is going to be broken on the national stage. Like I said, this is something we've been dealing with locally with Candlelight Christian Fellowship, the local Republican Party, and all of these different people kind of warring with one another about whether or not we have to support Israel to be a good Christian. This has been a topic of discussion at the local level since at least 2022, and now we're starting to see it hitting kind of a higher watermark, if you will, with this Religious Liberty Commission, with the Department of Justice. It's going to become a problem, and Catholics are going to have to pick a side. Are we with the Philos Project? Are we with Paul Singer? Are we with all of these Jewish oligarch billionaires that are attempting to buy off Opus Dei and the Catholic Information Center? They've already bought off J.D. Vance, it seems. And so, be reminded of some of this stuff. The quote here from St. Pius X. It's super important. The Catholics are the main character here. I'm sorry. But that's how this is going to go. There's also some updates, a little bit of updates as we kind of move on and start to wrap things up here. We talked about Donald Trump's Board of Peace a couple of weeks ago, and Israel has now officially joined the money laundering op. The Board of Peace has now welcomed Israel as a founding member in their new international organization. You've got to go back. I forget which episode it was. Maybe I can pull it up on the screen. It wasn't too long ago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one right here. It was From Miami to Davos, episode 110. Cameron went off about Donald Trump's Board of Peace and how absolutely shitty and corrupt that's going to be going forward. They're building, these real estate mansions on top of the bones of the dead. Not good. What else? It's also very interesting to note as well with this Carrie Prejean thing happening, we're starting to see groups like LifeSite News stepping up to the plate here, saying anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. Now, of course, anti-Semitism isn't real, and to whatever extent that it is a thing, it's a reaction to their behavior. It's not just because of the color of their skin is different. No, it's the behavior. It's the content of their character. Okay, that's what's at issue here. And so, anti-Semitism is just a fake, made-up word that's used to bully people. Also, have to mention that something crazy happened in France today. Here we go. Earlier today, the 23-year-old named Quentin, he was a Catholic nationalist, lived in France, and he was beaten to death by Antifa in France. This is from Martin Sellner. It says the Antifa terror organization that killed Quentin is still allowed to operate in France to this day, even though the group that this young boy, Academia Christiana, they've been suppressed in the French Republic. So say some prayers for this young kid. There have been, I've been seeing, assemblies going on all day over in Europe to commemorate this young kid. This happened before. This happened in the 1920s and 30s. Antifa was going around and murdering people. They were doing it in 2017, 2018, 2019 as well. I remember in Portland, there was a guy who got popped in the back of the head for wearing a red hat. I don't even think it was a Trump hat. And of course, these people in Antifa, they get, the state looks the other way. They never get arrested. They never seem to face any kind of justice for their crimes. They can burn down entire cities and nobody does anything. So anyway, little Catholic heavy tonight. I apologize for that. But it is interesting to see, who is stepping up to the plate and fighting the fight for the freedom to be able to say the truth, for the freedom to not have to co-sign Zionism as politics, So anyway, those are some of my thoughts. Once again, we got a bunch of big shows coming up for you. On Monday, we're going to be talking with Dark Enlightenment, mostly about the housing crisis, but we'll probably branch off into some other topics as well. On Wednesday, we've got Mark Rasmussen from Rasmussen Reports, Honest Pollster, right? He's going to be joining us. Homath on Friday, Casey Putsch the next Monday, and a long list. I've got a bunch of other people that I'm working on tracking down and booking on the show. So that's going to be a great time. Get your last-minute Rumble rants or Super Chats in. We will be reading those. I will be reading those. But first, before we do that, I've got to give a shout-out to our sponsors. We love them, don't we, folks? Please patronize these people. Above Time Coffee Roasters, they are purveyors of fine, handmade, hand-roasted, small batch coffee. And they are a white positive company. They like white people. They don't hate us. They don't want us to die. They think that we have a right to our homelands, and we do. So please check out Above Time Coffee Roasters at abovetimecoffee.com. I think I'm going to be trying one of these medium roasts coming up soon. Been drinking the blonde roast, loving it. And if you use promo code Backlash10, you'll get 10% off. Same goes for our friends at Antelope Hill Publishing. They're fighting to keep history alive amidst a regime of anti-white censorship, and they're creating a library to help educate and equip new generations of dissidents with the information they need to fight the anti-white regime. Their varied catalog includes the newly updated and expanded third edition of Dr. Kevin MacDonald's Culture of Critique, the essential modern text on Jewish identity, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne's magnum opus, Greatness and Ruin, the definitive scholarly examination of European exceptionalism, as well as works by Carrie Bolton, Paul Kersey, and Josh Neal. Antelope Hill recently brought David Irving's iconic Nuremberg the Last Battle back into print and have numerous translations of historical works from eras such as Fascist Italy, National Socialist Germany, and Civil War Spain, previously unavailable in English. There are also plenty of books on contemporary issues such as transgenderism, the opioid crisis, and Christian nationalism, as well as history books, novels, and children's books. So whatever your interest is, you're bound to find something that you like at Antelope Hill Publishing, all professionally published with sleek modern cover art. Help us and help our people by checking out companies that share our values and fight for our cause. Visit antelopehillpublishing.com. And by the way, we are working on doing a little something. Let me see if I can pull this up over at thebacklash.net. If you go to our website here under affiliate links, is it there yet? Maybe if I just go to /affiliates. Yeah, there we go. We're making a new landing page for all of our sponsors, of which there are many. So we're going to break up some of these ad reads and get to your super chats. But please go visit thebacklash.net. You can get to all of our affiliate links and all of our great sponsors, all the back episodes of the show. And hey, if you want to help us keep going, bring in some conversations that are very needed in this day and age, you can donate and super chat. And we've even got some merch. We're going to be adding some merch too. We're going to be getting the Randy Weaver tees up. I've got them designed, so they'll be up soon. Please visit thebacklash.net. Okay, now let's see how this works, because this is going to be new. This is a little different. I'm using Rumble Studio and Power Chat. So let's see how this goes. Nothing on entropy. What's today's date? The 13th? Okay. Anonymous sent $5. I hope all the hosts succeed in this new chapter. Christ is King. Yes, absolutely. Do you like it? It's there now. It's not in front of our faces anymore. Wishing Rebecca and Cameron the absolute best. I think they've got a lot of really good work to do yet. So definitely follow their channels. I know Cameron's is Neo-Masculinity on YouTube, and Rebecca is Blonde in the Belly of the Beast. So you can, of course, get to their channels over on YouTube. Playboy Fella sent a huge super chat, $100. Thank you for the big super chat, big guy. He didn't have a message. He just sent $100 on YouTube. So thank you very much. Big Mad Lad sent $10. So is the Backlash just you solo now? Guessing you can't give any more updates on Cam and Rebecca than the official statement. Very sad that they left. I agree. Yeah, you're right. We've got the statement, and that was approved by everybody, and wish them the absolute best. This show would not exist without them, and we've done a lot of really good work. I think that the first 115 episodes of the show were, prophetic in a certain way. There's a lot that we talked about that has yet to unfold. That will. It will unfold. Things like this great financial crisis that we are on the cusp of. As Pam Bondi goes before Congress and starts bitching about the Dow. Did you see that clip where they're trying to hammer her down on Epstein, and she's like, "But did you see the Dow's at 50,000 today?" What is wrong with you? So anyway, we've got a lot yet that we're going to be seeing. So I'll be here with you for that. And of course, I think Rebecca and Cam, they'll be around too. So you'll be able to get all of our content individually, uniquely on all of our channels. And God knows what the future has in store. But wish everybody the best of luck. Let's see, Rocco D2 sent $5 on Rumble. Your co-host is too hot, too based, mind blown. Only thing that keeps me from staring is L. Ron Hubbard. Bro. We have some of the funniest people. Let's see here. I think we've got another one over on YouTube. Ryan Haas, 8716, sent $10. From a self-admitted Dave disliker, sad about the split, but respect for carrying on, man. I'll stick around. You've grown on me, LOL. Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, man, I'm not a dick. I don't know why. I think it's mostly just a meme. I have a punchable face. It's okay. I can take it. But yeah, all right. Well, that does it for the super chats that I'm seeing so far. We've got a couple more ads to read, so get your last minute super chats in. Before we do that, I've got to tell you about tallow. I've got to tell you about tallow soap. I've got to tell you about North Idaho Tallow Company. They are a fantastic family-owned company here in North Idaho that produces some of the finest soap and skincare products that you will ever try. They've got handcrafted soaps, balms, lip balm, and candles as well. I don't know if you're aware, but some of these new candles have like soy in it. And when you burn the candles, the soy makes you gay because you're breathing that in. And so if you want some quality handcrafted candles that won't make you gay, you can get some of the IR infrared light as opposed to sitting in front of a screen. You could do that at NorthIdahoTallowCompany.com. And a reminder that orders over $100 ship for free. And like I was saying about the imminent financial crisis that this country faces, and we are, it's going to get bad out there, folks. Whether it's the housing crisis, the inflation problem. One of the other things that we got right on this show, by the way, was what was going on in Venezuela. I don't know if you saw or not, but the first shipment of Venezuelan oil went to Israel. It's not coming to the United States. So we aren't going to be seeing dramatically cheaper gas, unfortunately, which means inflation is going to be going up, especially if we go to war with Iran. And that means that you need to take precautions by protecting your wealth with gold and silver from our friends at atlasbullion.com/backlash. You can stack precious metals the easy way by signing up for a subscription, with silver subscriptions as low as $55 a month, gold subscriptions as low as $200 a month. But really, you should be stacking as hard as you can, because we are undergoing a great reset. A great monetary reset is underway. So you can get protected with atlasbullion.com/backlash. Once again, you can find all of those links on the website at thebacklash.net. We've also got a very interesting new partnership that I'm very proud to announce. Didn't get to do it on the Wednesday show, but we're doing it now. CoinKite. We now have an affiliate deal with CoinKite, and I am so happy. I can shill Bitcoin till the fucking cows come home, and no one is going to say a damn word to me, okay? We're going to get Marty Ben on the show. We're going to get a bunch of Bitcoin guys on the show. We'll probably get Jack Cruz back. And so now if you want to go shopping for a hardware wallet that will keep your funds secure, safe, from being stolen by either the federal government or the Israelis, you can get yourself a cold card. These are the premier Bitcoin wallets, par excellence, hands down. There is no second best. The cold card Q, and we get a 5% commission if you decide to buy one using our link. So please check out our friends over at CoinKite if you are trying to protect your stack, protect your Bitcoin. Don't leave it on an exchange, and don't use Coinbase. We're gonna put out some content about this because it's really important. It is important, especially for those of us that are married. We have a wife to take care of, kids. We have to be thinking of how to protect our money because this U.S. dollar system is not going to be around forever. You can look at every fiat currency in history, and every single one of them has collapsed. And the Trump administration has explicitly stated that they want the U.S. dollar to be devalued so that we can bring manufacturing back, which means they're going to rob you blind, and they are going to print a lot of money. So gold, silver, Bitcoin, and you can do it with all of our friends on the website. And last but not least, of course, ODGG Supply. If you're ready to go blankie mode, you're ready to go bug out mode, if you're ready to go help your neighbors in a time of disaster, ODGG Supply has got you covered. They've got backpacks, rucksacks, sleeping bags, tents. They've got military surplus of all kinds from like every country. They've even got night vision, thermals. You can get all kitted out and go LARPing with our friends over at ODGG Supply. They are the best in the business. And if you use promo code Backlash25, you will get free shipping on your order. And we've got some big collabs coming up to announce with them as well. I think Alex, and do you know the Native Patriot? You might have seen him hanging around on Twitter. He is one of the finest Native Americans, feather, not dot. He is one of the finest Indians I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. And he's going to be coming up here to North Idaho with Alex. And I think we're going to go out in a tank. So we're going to be bringing a lot of new content here. We're going to get out from behind the desk a little bit in the future, too. And I'm going to take you around North Idaho. I'll show you the ropes. I'll give you the 2-cent racist tour. You know, there's where the Aryan nations were, and that's Randy Weaver's house. We're gonna get out from behind the desk as this channel continues to grow and change and play with new ideas. So please, if you haven't already, hit the like, smash follow button, whatever below. We do appreciate it because we're just getting started here at the Backlash. Let me just see. My assistant, my lovely assistant, is waving at me that there's a super chat that I'm, I guess, not seeing from a self-admitted Dave disliker. That one? Can you screenshot it and text it to me? Let me refresh over here as well. Maybe it's on Entropy. No, it's not on Entropy. Okay, hold on. My wife is texting me. Thank you, beautiful assistant. Yeah, from Playboy, $100. I think that was just the one. But anyway, thank you very much, Playboy fella. Hey, thank you for the support. Love to see it. Yeah, super excited to keep this show alive, to keep going forward with you. Like I said, this might be one of the last Dave After Darks, depending on how things play out. This might just be the Backlash going forward. We'll have to see the next couple of days. It'll be interesting. But yeah, Monday, Dark Enlightenment. Wednesday, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Reports. Friday, Home Math. And then the next Monday, Casey Putsch. Big shows lined up for you. A lot of content coming your way. So God bless you. Thanks for sticking with us. And have a great night. See ya.